Hello there and welcome. It's so lovely to have you join me today. Isn't it funny how a certain smell can just instantly transport you back in time? Maybe it's the scent of freshly baked bread reminding you of your mother's kitchen, or the smell of rain on warm pavement taking you back to childhood summers. Our sense of smell is deeply connected to our memories and emotions, isn't it? But have you ever stopped to think about what happens when that scent starts to fade, or when you notice? Well, unusual smells that you can't quite place. Sometimes the most important messages our bodies send us are the quietest ones, the ones that are easiest to overlook. We get so used to the little aches and pains, the slight changes we chalk up to simply getting older, that we might miss crucial signals. Today we're going to talk about something that sounds a bit startling. I admit, the title mentions a smell that means you'll die sooner. Now, please don't let that title scare you. That's not my intention at all. Instead, I want to empower you with knowledge, because understanding certain subtle signs, things that perhaps 99% of us tend to ignore, can genuinely make a difference in our health journey, especially as we navigate our golden years. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. It's about tuning into our bodies and recognizing that sometimes what seems insignificant might actually be a vital clue about our underlying health. We're going to delve into what this smell really represents. Sometimes it's about what we can't smell anymore, and other times it might be faint, unusual odors we or others notice. We'll explore why these olfactory signals are so important and how paying attention to them can guide us toward proactive steps for a longer, healthier, and more vibrant life. Because isn't that what we all want? To keep enjoying those precious moments, those familiar, comforting scents, and the richness of life for as long as possible. So let's start by talking about something many of us experience as we age: changes in our ability to smell. Have you noticed, perhaps, that flowers don't seem quite as fragrant as they used to? Or maybe food doesn't taste as flavorful. Often we brush this off. Oh, it's just part of getting older, we might say. And while it's true that our sense of smell can diminish somewhat with age, a significant decline is not something we should simply accept as inevitable or unimportant. Think about it, our sense of smell is a protective mechanism. It warns us of dangers like smoke from a fire, a natural gas leak, or spoiled food that could make us sick. When this sense weakens considerably, we lose that crucial early warning system. But the implications go even deeper than that. Groundbreaking research over the past couple of decades has uncovered a startling link between a significantly reduced sense of smell, what doctors call hyposmia or anosmia, and overall health outcomes, including longevity. Studies have shown that older adults with a poor sense of smell have a higher risk of mortality over the following few years compared to those with a keen sense of smell, even when accounting for other health factors. Now, why would this be? It seems strange, doesn't it? How can the simple ability to smell a rose be connected to something as profound as lifespan? Well, the olfactory bulb, the part of the brain that processes smells, has intricate connections to other critical brain regions, including those involved in memory, emotion, and overall neurological health. A decline in olfactory function can sometimes be one of the earliest, almost silent, signs that something isn't quite right within these complex systems. In fact, a diminished sense of smell is now recognized as a potential early indicator for neurodegenerative conditions like Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease, sometimes appearing years, even decades, before other more obvious symptoms like tremors or memory loss emerge. Again, I want to stress, this doesn't mean that if your sense of smell isn't what it used to be, you should panic. Absolutely not. But it does mean it's something worth paying attention to. It's a signal worth mentioning to your doctor at your next checkup. They might suggest simple smell tests or investigate further if they think it's warranted. Ignoring it, just assuming it's normal aging, means missing an opportunity. An opportunity to potentially catch underlying issues earlier when interventions might be more effective. Think of it as your body gently whispering a message. Are you listening? It's easy to miss if you're not paying attention. Maybe you haven't noticed because the change was gradual. Try actively paying attention for a few days. Can you smell your coffee brewing in the morning, the scent of your shampoo, the rain outside? Don't dismiss subtle changes. Now, alongside the asterisk loss of smell, there's another aspect to this idea of a smell signaling potential health issues. Sometimes it's not about what you asterisk can't smell, but about faint, persistent, and unusual odors emanating from the body itself, particularly from breath or sweat. Again, these are often subtle and easily ignored or attributed to something simple, like diet. We might get used to our own scent, or perhaps feel embarrassed to mention it. But these smells can sometimes be biochemical clues, whispers from our metabolism about what's happening inside. For instance, have you ever heard that uncontrolled diabetes can sometimes cause breath to have a slightly sweet, almost fruity or acetone-like smell? This happens when the body can't use glucose for energy properly and starts breaking down fats instead, producing ketones. While often associated with a serious condition called diabetic ketoacidosis, even milder versions of this scent could hint at blood sugar levels being consistently too high, suggesting undiagnosed diabetes or poorly managed existing diabetes. Ignoring this subtle clue could delay necessary treatment and management. Similarly, breath that persistently smells faintly of ammonia or fish might, in some cases, indicate that the kidneys aren't filtering waste products effectively, leading to a buildup of urea in the body, which is then expelled through the breath. This isn't something to diagnose yourself with, of course, but it's a potential sign worth discussing with a healthcare professional, especially if accompanied by other symptoms like fatigue or changes in urination. Even persistent bad breath, known as halitosis, that doesn't seem to improve despite diligent brushing and flossing, shouldn't always be dismissed. While often related to dental issues or bacteria in the mouth, it can sometimes point towards problems deeper down, like sinus infections, tonsil issues, gastrointestinal problems like acid reflux, or even lung conditions. The body has ways of signaling when something is amiss, and unusual, persistent smells are one of those ways. Changes in body odor, too, while often linked to diet, hygiene, or hormonal shifts, can occasionally reflect underlying metabolic changes or conditions. The key here is persistence and change from your normal. It's not about the occasional odor after eating certain foods or exercising, but a consistent, unusual scent that you or someone close to you notices. The crucial takeaway from these first points is the importance of awareness and attentiveness. Whether it's noticing that the world seems less fragrant than it used to, or becoming aware of a subtle but persistent new scent on your breath or body, these olfactory signals are worth acknowledging. They are prompts from your body, asking for attention. Dismissing them as just part of getting older, or nothing to worry about, might mean overlooking valuable information that could lead to earlier diagnosis and better management of your health. Understanding these signals is the first step towards taking proactive control, and there's so much more we can learn about how our bodies communicate with us and how we can best respond to live healthier, longer lives. Indeed, understanding these signals, these subtle shifts in our sense of smell or the faint odors our bodies might produce, is more than just interesting information. It's a fundamental aspect of staying safe and healthy, especially as we cherish our independence and quality of life. Think about the practical, everyday role your sense of smell plays in keeping you safe. We talked about how it's an early warning system. Imagine not being able to detect the faint scent of natural gas from a stove burner accidentally left on, or the acrid smell of smoke from a small electrical issue before it becomes a dangerous fire. These are scenarios where a keen sense of smell can literally be a lifesaver. And what about food safety? We rely on our noses to tell us if the milk has soured or if leftovers in the fridge have gone bad. When our ability to smell diminishes significantly, the risk of accidentally consuming spoiled food increases, potentially leading to unpleasant bouts of food poisoning, which can be particularly hard on older bodies, sometimes leading to dehydration or other complications that require medical attention. It sounds simple, almost trivial, but being unable to rely on this basic sense removes a layer of protection we often take for granted. It underscores why noticing a decline in your smelling ability isn't just a minor inconvenience. It's a potential safety concern that warrants attention and perhaps finding ways to compensate, like being extra vigilant with food expiration dates or installing sensitive smoke and gas detectors. Protecting ourselves from these immediate environmental dangers is a cornerstone of living safely and, consequently, living longer in our own homes. Beyond these direct safety roles, let's consider another, perhaps less obvious, connection between our sense of smell and our overall well-being: its profound impact on our enjoyment of food and subsequently our nutritional health. Have you ever had a bad cold that completely blocked your nose? Remember how food suddenly seemed bland and unappetizing? That's because much of what we perceive as flavor is actually derived from smell, not just taste. Our taste buds can detect basic sensations like sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami, but it's the aromas reaching the olfactory receptors in our nasal passages that give food its rich, complex flavor profile. So when the ability to smell fades, so does the pleasure of eating for many people. Food just doesn't taste the same, it loses its appeal. This can lead to a gradual decrease in appetite, known as olfactory-driven appetite decline. You might find yourself eating less, not because you're not hungry, but because the whole experience is less rewarding. Or conversely, some people might start adding excessive amounts of salt or sugar to their food, trying desperately to recapture some flavor, which can contribute to other health problems like high blood pressure or issues with blood sugar management. Over time, this reduced appetite and altered food preference can quietly lead to inadequate nutrient intake or even malnutrition. And malnutrition in older adults is a very serious concern. It's not always about being visibly underweight. You can be overweight and still be malnourished if you're not getting the essential vitamins, minerals, and protein your body needs. Malnutrition weakens the immune system, making us more susceptible to infections. It slows down wound healing, increases muscle weakness, which raises the risk of falls and fractures, and generally drains our energy levels, contributing to fatigue and a lower quality of life. It creates a sort of downward spiral that can significantly impact overall health and longevity. This is another way that ignoring changes in your sense of smell can have far-reaching consequences. It's a subtle pathway, the scent of decline brought on by poor nutrition, triggered by the loss of sensory pleasure in eating. If you have noticed food seems less flavorful, don't just resign yourself to bland meals. Talk to your doctor, of course, but also experiment. Try enhancing flavors using things your taste buds can detect well. Use herbs, spices, vinegars, or lemon juice to add zest. Focus on textures, crunchy, creamy, smooth, which can make eating more interesting. Make meals visually appealing. We eat with our eyes too. Sometimes, simply warming food up can release more aromas, even if your perception is diminished. It's about finding ways to keep nourishing your body well, even if one of your key senses isn't cooperating as much as it used to. Now let's circle back for a moment to those literal smells we discussed earlier, particularly breath odor. We touched on how it could signal systemic issues like diabetes or kidney problems, but very often, persistent bad breath has a much more direct, though still crucial, source: the health of your mouth. Neglected oral hygiene is incredibly common, and unfortunately, its consequences go far beyond just social awkwardness. Think of your mouth as a gateway to the rest of your body. If it's not healthy, if gums are inflamed, gingivitis, or infected periodontitis, the bacteria breeding there don't necessarily stay put. They can enter the bloodstream through tiny breaks in the gum tissue. This can contribute to chronic inflammation throughout the body, which researchers have linked to a higher risk of serious conditions, including heart disease and stroke. The bacteria can also be inhaled into the lungs, particularly in more frail individuals or those who have difficulty swallowing, potentially leading to aspiration pneumonia, a dangerous lung infection. Furthermore, poor oral health, painful gums, or missing teeth can make chewing difficult and uncomfortable, further contributing to the nutritional problems we just discussed. If it hurts to eat, you're less likely to choose nutritious foods like fresh fruits, vegetables, or lean proteins, opting instead for softer, often less healthy options. So that persistent off smell on the breath shouldn't just be masked with mints. It's a sign that something needs attention. Are you brushing thoroughly twice a day and flossing daily? If you have dentures, are you cleaning them meticulously and removing them at night? Are you seeing your dentist regularly, at least once or twice a year, even if you have dentures or no remaining natural teeth? Gum disease can be sneaky and often painless in its early stages, but a dentist can spot the signs. Treating oral health issues isn't just about saving your teeth or freshening your breath. It's an essential part of maintaining your overall systemic health and reducing your risk for other serious conditions. It's another piece of the puzzle, another smell, this time quite literal, that signals a potential threat to your long-term well-being if ignored. Paying attention to these interconnected aspects, our ability to sense dangers in our environment, the way smell influences our nutrition, and the importance of oral health often signaled by breath odor, reveals how deeply our sense of smell is woven into the fabric of our health and safety. These aren't isolated issues. They are part of a larger picture of how vigilant and proactive we need to be in listening to our bodies, even to the messages that seem quiet or easy to dismiss. It truly is remarkable how interconnected everything is within our bodies, isn't it? How something seemingly simple like our sense of smell touches upon our safety, our nutrition, and even the health of our mouths, all tying back to our overall well-being and longevity. But the signals our bodies send, the clues about our health trajectory, aren't always directly related to physical senses like smell or taste. Sometimes the most significant indicators are a bit more metaphorical, a feeling, a pattern, a sense of stagnation that we might ignore, much like we might ignore a fading sense of smell. Let's think about the smell of inactivity, or perhaps the feeling of life becoming a little stagnant. Does that resonate at all? As we get older, it can be tempting to slow down, perhaps stay indoors more, stick to familiar routines. And while comfort and routine have their place, a life that lacks physical movement and mental engagement can inadvertently create an environment where health risks quietly grow. When we're less active, we naturally encounter fewer new sights, sounds, and yes, smells. Our world can literally shrink, both physically and sensorially. This lack of fresh air, both literal and metaphorical, often goes hand in hand with reduced physical activity. And the dangers of becoming too sedentary, especially after 60 or 70, are profound. Our muscles naturally tend to lose mass and strength as we age, a condition called sarcopenia, but inactivity dramatically accelerates this process. Weaker muscles don't just mean it's harder to open a jar or climb stairs. They significantly increase the risk of falls, which can lead to devastating fractures, loss of independence, and a cascade of health problems. Beyond falls, a sedentary lifestyle is a major contributor to heart disease, type 2 diabetes, weight gain, poor circulation, and even cognitive decline and dementia. It can also affect our mood, contributing to feelings of depression or apathy. So this feeling of stagnation, this lack of movement and engagement, is like a silent warning bell. It's your body and mind telling you they need more stimulation, more activity. The wonderful news is that activity doesn't mean you suddenly need to start training for a marathon. It means finding enjoyable ways to move your body regularly. Gentle walking is fantastic. Perhaps explore a different park or neighborhood, taking in new scents and sights. Gardening gets you moving and connects you with the earth. Dancing, whether it's ballroom or just moving to music in your living room, is wonderful for both body and spirit. Water aerobics is gentle on the joints. Even simple chair exercises can make a big difference if mobility is limited. The key is consistency and finding something you actually enjoy so it doesn't feel like a chore. Keeping active physically and mentally literally brings fresh energy into your life, combating that musty feeling of stagnation and building resilience for the years ahead. Alongside physical stagnation, there's another powerful, often invisible factor that can significantly impact our health and longevity, and that's chronic stress. We all experience stress, of course. It's a normal part of life. But when stress becomes constant, when worry or overwhelm feels like a permanent fixture in your day-to-day life, it takes a heavy toll. Think of this persistent, gnawing stress as another kind of warning scent, maybe not a literal odor, though severe stress can sometimes subtly alter body chemistry, but definitely a signal that your system is overloaded. What does chronic stress actually do to us? When we're constantly stressed, our bodies produce high levels of hormones like cortisol. While cortisol is helpful in short bursts, the fight or flight response, prolonged exposure is damaging. It can suppress the immune system, making us more vulnerable to infections. Remember how we talked about weakened immunity being a concern? It contributes to high blood pressure, increasing the risk of heart attack and stroke. It can mess with our digestion, cause sleep problems, lead to anxiety and depression, and even impact memory and concentration. Chronic stress essentially accelerates the aging process at a cellular level by promoting inflammation throughout the body. Recognizing that you are experiencing chronic stress is the first crucial step. Are you constantly feeling worried, tense, or overwhelmed? Are you having trouble sleeping, feeling irritable or short-tempered, experiencing frequent headaches or unexplained aches and pains? These are signs that your stress levels might be harmfully high. Ignoring these feelings, just trying to push through, is like ignoring that faint smell of smoke. It doesn't make the underlying problem go away. Managing stress, therefore, isn't an indulgence. It's essential preventative health care. And thankfully, there are many effective ways to do this. Simple techniques like deep breathing exercises or mindfulness meditation, even just for a few minutes a day, can calm the nervous system remarkably well. Spending time in nature has proven benefits for stress reduction. Engaging in hobbies you love, listening to music, or losing yourself in a good book can provide much-needed respite. Gentle physical activity like walking, tai chi, or yoga is a fantastic stress reliever. Connecting with supportive friends, family, or community groups combats the loneliness that can often exacerbate stress. And please, never hesitate to talk to your doctor or a mental health professional if stress feels unmanageable. They can offer further strategies and support. Learning to recognize and actively manage chronic stress is paramount to protecting your health and ensuring those golden years are truly enjoyable. So you see, looking after our long-term health involves paying attention not just to the obvious physical signals like changes in smell or specific odors, but also to these broader patterns in our lives, how active we are, how engaged we feel, and how we manage the inevitable stresses that come our way. Each of these elements plays a vital role in the complex tapestry of aging well. In understanding this broader picture, recognizing how our physical senses, our daily habits like activity levels, and even our emotional states like stress are all intricately linked, is truly where our power lies. It moves us away from feeling like passive bystanders in our own aging process and puts us firmly in the driver's seat, equipped with awareness and the knowledge to make informed choices for our health and vitality. So when we talk about a smell that might hint at future health risks, whether it's the literal fading of our ability to perceive the scents around us, a subtle change in breath or body odor, or those more metaphorical scents of stagnation or chronic stress, the real message isn't about fear or inevitability. Not at all. The message is about paying attention. It's about becoming a keen observer of your own body and your life patterns. Think back on what we've explored together. We've seen how crucial it is not to simply dismiss a declining sense of smell as just getting old. Recognizing this change allows you to be more vigilant about safety, checking those smoke detectors, being careful with food freshness. It prompts you to find creative ways to keep enjoying your meals and maintain good nutrition, perhaps using more herbs, spices, and textures. And importantly, it gives you a reason to mention it to your doctor, as it can sometimes be an early clue about other underlying health matters that benefit from early attention. We also touched upon those faint, unusual odors, the slightly sweet breath, the hint of ammonia, or persistent bad breath despite good hygiene. Again, not reasons for immediate panic, but gentle nudges from your body. They encourage you to consider factors like blood sugar levels, kidney function, or very importantly, the health of your mouth. Prioritizing regular dental checkups and meticulous oral care isn't just about a nice smile. It's fundamental to reducing inflammation and protecting your heart and overall systemic health. And then we broadened our view to those lifestyle factors that create the overall atmosphere of our health. We recognize that feeling stagnant, lacking movement and engagement carries significant risks for muscle strength, balance, heart health, and even cognitive function. Choosing activity, choosing to keep moving in ways you enjoy, infuses your life with energy and resilience. Similarly, acknowledging the burden of chronic stress, understanding its quiet but damaging effects, and actively seeking ways to manage it through relaxation, hobbies, social connection, or professional support is absolutely vital for protecting your long-term health and well-being. Bringing all these pieces together, what emerges is a holistic understanding of health in our later years. It's not just about managing specific diseases, it's about nurturing the entire system, body, mind, and spirit. It's about listening intently to all the signals, both subtle and obvious, that tell us how things are going. This awareness is your superpower. It empowers you to ask the right questions, to seek help when needed, and to make small, consistent choices every day that add up to a big difference in your quality of life, and yes, potentially your longevity. Please take this information not as a source of worry, but as a source of empowerment. It is never, ever too late to make positive changes. Whether it's deciding to go for a short walk each day, trying a new healthy recipe, scheduling that overdue dental appointment, practicing a few minutes of deep breathing, or simply paying closer attention to the world around you through all your senses, every little bit counts. You have incredible wisdom and experience, and by adding this layer of self-awareness, you become an even more active participant in your own health journey. Aging is a natural process, but decline is not necessarily inevitable. There is so much potential for joy, growth, connection, and vitality in the years after 60, 70, and beyond. I truly hope this conversation has been helpful and perhaps given you some food for thought. I would absolutely love to hear from you in the comments below. What are some ways you stay active and engaged? Have you found effective ways to manage stress? Or perhaps you have your own story about noticing a subtle sign that prompted a positive health change. Sharing our experiences helps us all learn and feel connected. If you found value in our chat today, please do give this video a like. It really helps others find this information too. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll be sharing more tips and insights focused on helping you live your healthiest, happiest life, no matter your age. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Remember to be kind to yourself, listen to your body, and keep embracing life with curiosity and an open heart. Here's to your health, your happiness, and living every single day to the fullest. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.